This will be a package from AliExpress. It's completely wrapped in plastic tape. I can see this is the door to it. If I can just find a notch. Well, the box says signal generator. That's more or less correct. USB to USB. Is this a C? I don't really know. European charging connector, power supply. Then 4 of these, they're not silicone insulated, but they're nicely insulated PVC. Banana by alligator. It feels really good. I'm very impressed with the feel of it. I'm guessing the battery I'm guessing wrong. So I turn it on, and it proceeds to shut down. I think this might be a battery indicator, so I'll hook it up to a USB outlet. We'll see if it will stay started up. Okay, at least it's not shutting down. Now, for people that know what this is, it's going to be obvious, and for people that don't, it probably won't matter. This is a signal generator of the sorts, and it's used to calibrate, troubleshoot, whatever, a 4 to 20 milliamp signal. The 4 to 20 milliamp system is a protocol for transmitting variables over an analog transmission. The protocol is that 4 milliamp equates to 0% of the input variable, and 20 milliamp results in 100% of the inputted variable. The inputted variable can be any analog value. It could be 0 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, centigrade, 0 to 20 psi. We could transmit lux, weight, density, flow rates. In any event, a flow rate, a temperature, a weight will have a 0 or 0% output from the transmitter. May not equate to 0 units, and 20 milliamps indicates 100% of the output on the same current loop. This protocol has fallen out of favor today, in favor of digital transmissions. But at one time, this 4 to 20 milliamp signal protocol was universal in factories, breweries, distilleries, municipal pumping stations, sewage plants, anywhere a variable needed to be transmitted from some distance away. The depth of water in a well, for example, 2 miles away, could be presented to an operator's control screen via a 4 to 20 milliamp signal loop. Now, typically associated with the 4 to 20 milliamp loop is a 0 to 24 volt approximate power supply. This generates and measures current and voltage. It's a very sophisticated device. Comes with a small operating manual and specifications. If there's any interest in this, I'll do a separate video. I bought this on AliExpress. This is the description. Costs $55, free shipping. Here's some of the technical parameters. Output, current range 0 to 24 milliamps. Voltage range 0 to 24 volts at a maximum of 30 milliamps. And then it can input and measure 0 to 24 milliamps, 0 to 30 volts. It can do pulsed output as a lithium battery, blah, blah, blah. FIRST, or however you pronounce that, has an online manual. Little circuit board. Unfortunately, all the component values are obscured by the components themselves. Integrated circuits are socketed. Screw terminals, 2 sealed potentiometers and 1 not sealed, and it's advertised as being a low distortion audio range oscillator. It has a ground and an output, and it uses a split plus and minus 15 volts DC supply. I believe the second one is related to that. This is the circuit board, less the parts. I could have gotten both of these from the same seller, but I didn't. So the assembled board, which is shown in blue for some reason, is supposed to be a very low distortion 1000 hertz sine wave generator. And you say the board was shown here, the assembled board, which cost me $16.15, and the bare board from another seller, bare PCB, that actually cost about $5, $4.50 some cents. And I say it was available from the first seller, probably cheaper. I see there's a version number shown here. It's not shown here. And neither one have a version number on them. So it's entirely possible that there were different versions of this at one time, or different iterations as time went by. I'll do a separate video on these. This is an eBay brokered package. This is a tool I saw on another YouTube producer's, one of his videos. That would be Pile of Stuff, or Pile of Stuff, all one word. He's a Canadian producer, and for years, for 40 years, I've been removing fold-over strain release using the good old slip joint pliers, which inevitably leaves marks on the exterior of the strain relief. This is actually, it says cutter stripper, it is not. And the front is entirely incorrect. But the tool itself is used to compress. Oh, and it has a nice hand locking. There we go. Spring loaded, and allows me to compress the compression fitting and insert it or remove it at various angles. See, these are angled. So I could go down on top of it or go up from underneath. You don't see these strain reliefs very much since they've been replaced by IEC connectors, but wish I had this tool 40 years ago. So thank you to Pile of Stuff. Check his channel out. As I said, this is a eBay seller. It's more for electronics than electricians. And they're not metal strain reliefs. I believe this word metal refers to the fact that this is metal. There are different sizes. They grip different diameter wires. And that apparently is a list of of the various clamps it can be used with. Let's see, $12 because it was 20 cents shipping. And the seller was this fellow right here. This is a fairly large package. I'd say it's 12 by 12 by 6 inches. I got this through eBay. So it's a box within a box. Says Bristol Babcock's. Must be a large water sewage plant, 50 million gallons a day. No date Nothing like, oh, here's a, now see, this says it's pneumatic. That'll become important a little bit. I picture this as being a spare that became superfluous. Now it says 4 to 20 milliamps. Earlier in this video, I think I I included it, a 4 to 20 milliamp signal generator. So the box is marked pneumatic. This is marked 4 to 20 milliamps. It could be an electronics gauge, it could be a pressure gauge. We'll open it up and find out if there's wires or tubing. It's already mounted to a very heavy-bodied Krauss, yep. Half-inch T. This is not a piece of die-cast stuff. This is steel. And somebody's drilled and tapped this. Probably for a terminal block. Let's see. And they've sealed it with sealant, which is a good thing. These probably don't need to come the whole way out. They're just little hooks on the inside. Now these cast fittings, these screws normally have an end of travel stop. Okay. So I don't think that this could be pneumatic. I think it's a 4 to 20 milliamp ammeter. And we'll test this later on. But 4 milliamps should position the red pointer at 0, and 20 should swing it over to 50. I have a hunch the seller didn't know what it was, because he indicated, the seller, that it was a 4 to 20 milliamp pneumatic. Anyway, spent all of 20 bucks on this, and it came from this seller. I did an eBay search for 4 to 20 milliamp devices in order to do a video on the 4 to 20 amp transmission protocol. So now I have a gauge. And I have no date code, so we don't know how old this is.